Hi folks, you've clicked on a History in the Hand metal detecting video. I'm Steve Okino. We're here in north central Pennsylvania. Got my digging dog Mac with me right back here. So he and I are looking for treasures, and you are invited to join us. But right there is where the handle would have gone through. Find some history to put right in our hand. Of maybe Lady Liberty's braid, right there. Crotal bell. That is definitely what that is. There's an old barn bridge down there, tested and approved by the Good Housekeeping Institute. An old telephone bell from time past. Get it? Time, clock gear, time. So we have ourselves a jackknife. Oh, I know what this is. Behind me is an old road that is now only a driveway. But there was a homestead located down here behind this hunting cabin, and then the road continued on that way, went down through a valley and came out another location. So this place, for all the 22 shells and spent bullets and cartridges and stuff, it still continues to put out some interesting finds. So I'm glad we're here together. Got a nice signal here. It actually was a 92, which is usually a quarter, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's already deeper than I suspected. And there is what it was. Not a quarter, but certainly quarter-sized. What in the world? Doesn't stick to the magnet. Let me see if I can kind of clean this up. I have no idea what in the world this is. Is it just some kind of a homemade washer? That looks like it might have been a large cent at one time. I can almost see stars around the outside, equal distance apart. I don't really see, I can barely see the outline of maybe Lady Liberty's braid right there, which means the date would have been down here. I can kind of see the wheat around there. I think this is a largie that was punched for some reason. Anyhow, on to the next. All right, people. Got ourselves, almost positive, got ourselves another Crotal bell. That is definitely what that is. Oh, that is fabulous. Boy, these things just, they ring on the simplex just like they rang on the horse harness. That is fantastic. Let me get this cleaned up. That's clearly what this is. Now I don't know if there's gonna be a number on this one. Down here on the bottom. Now I think this is, I don't see, a lot of them had those little decorative grooves and a number. But the last one that I found here did not have a number either. But my gosh, did it ever ring like crazy. I'll pick this apart with a toothpick and take it over and dip it into the mud puddle over there. We'll get it cleaned up. I'll bet you this is going to ring just fabulous. But there it is. Fabulous piece of history. History in the hand. That's why we do this. So great. All right, on to the next. Okay, folks, you get a free lesson into how to clean out a Crotal bell. Good boy, Mackie. Good boy. There's still a lot of dirt in there. But that'll do for now. That is a beautiful little bell, and it does have a number on it. It does have the number 3 right there. So it may not have the it might not have the decorative little pieces. Looks like I may have struck that with my shovel, and it went through the patina, and this almost looks like copper to me. Maybe copper, maybe brass, but it almost looks copper. But oh, that's beautiful. How about that? This place is gorgeous. I've been circling around that one 300-year-old maple tree right there, sugar maple, and there's a ton of iron here, so I've got a feeling there may have been a shed or stalls or something here. That would make sense if we found a bell, but that's just great. On to the next. That is the head of an axe, and it's a little bit, no, not a little bit, it's a lot worse for wear. But right there is where the handle would have gone through, and the rest of the axe would have been here, the flat part, and the handle went through here. I would say the handle came this way because usually when it goes into the ground, it wears off the top part. So more than likely, that's what we've got here, but that's very old. Very old. So that's a cool piece of history to hold. Hand slaw. Just so you know, everything I find is not from the 1800s. All right, on to the next. Lead gives a great signal. So there is a pretty old 45 caliber pistol bullet. Now, this, I feel like I should know what that is. I see that there is writing on it. The Presto jar and closure are approved by, tested and approved by the Good Housekeeping Institute. Number such and such. There's a number there. And it says product produced by Good Housekeeping something. I think I hit it with my shovel. But then over here it says home tested and approved. Series number 637. And then there are 3 P's. Well, that's kind of cool. Might see if I can clean that up, get it back in shape, and the boys might like to keep that on the windowsill right here in the hunting camp. I see a old glass bottle here, and what appears to be possibly an old telephone bell. But it is non-ferrous. Finding some cool old stuff here. That is great. Alrighty, on to the next. Okay, so Mac has found a turkey foot to chew on, so he's happy. And then I thought I would just point out right over here on this level spot is where the original 1800's Homestead was. And the barn bridge is over there in the shade. And you can see where it dropped off, where the foundation ended right here. I'm assuming this has all been bulldozed. There's a lot of iron here, but I'd still like to look around, especially down below, right down there. So we'll see what we can come up with. Hey, do you know I got permission to detect around a logging camp brothel from the early and mid 1800s? That's right. Definitely going to be making videos, but if you don't subscribe, you're not going to see them. Another nice, clean, repeatable signal, and it is deep. Really? That's a chunk of coal. Happens all the time. Maybe I missed it this way. It's possible. I very, very occasionally make mistakes. That was sarcasm. Well, there we go. So look what we have here. Some glass. And there is the unmistakable shape of a clock gear. And that is why we were getting such a clear signal. These brass gears are round, and they also just put out a great signal. That is really cool. So, a little bit of history from time past. Get it? Time, clock gear, time. Yep, that is wonderful. Oh, that's cool. All right, we found our piece of history, and we have it right in the hand. I'm gonna put that in there. Not sure what we have, but it was giving a VDI in the 90s, and that's why right there. So we have ourselves a jackknife that was lost a long time ago. Look at that. The blade was busted off and out. The other blade was broken off right there and turned back in. The wood has long rotted away, but we have the 2 brass ends and the 3 brass plates that created the spaces to separate the blades for them to go down in. And this would have been a little brass bolster that held wood, the wooden handle on here. That's what that is. It's possible it could have actually been a loop that came out. But this knife was probably thrown away because one blade is broken off and turned back in. That way they wouldn't booger up their pocket. And this blade was broken off when they were prying with it. And when they busted the second blade, they just threw it. So that's the story that jackknives tell on it. But, oh, that's cool. History in the hand. Oh, we're finding a ton of stuff here. I love it. Another big iron object. But I have interest in these. Oh, I know what this is. I see the shape of an apostrophe. And this is an ox shoe. And that dates it way back to the mid 1800s. And that's about when this place was it's about when this homestead was built. So Oxen were used in this area. Oxen were used in this area before workhorses were. They were very slow, but they were very powerful. It's just that the horses were so much faster, could accomplish so much more in the same amount of time. But that was cleated, and it would have gone right on the toe of basically a great big bull. So pretty cool. That's history in the hand right there. Hey Mac, let's show the people what we found, okay? All right, starting with big iron, we found a lump of chain, unidentified thing, maybe something off of a tree, pulling tree from either oxen or a workhorse. We found a pretty nice ox shoe right here. We found 2 axe heads. We found our jackknife. We found a couple bullets. We found our mystery something item, no idea. Found a beautiful little Crotal bell, number 3. And we found a soffit vent thing. And we found this Presto jar and closure thingamabob, which is Good Housekeeping has given it seal, but I'm not sure what it is. If you know what that is, please let me know. We found 2 brass items. We found probably our largie and what could have been a telephone bell, not sure. Clock gear, fired lead bullet, and that is that. So it was a really cool evening that we got to spend. Maybe it's been 2 hours, but more like an hour and a half. So we found a lot of old things from the 1800s for that little amount of time. This is a beautiful place. I'll definitely be back here. Thanks for coming along. This is Steve reminding you that if you ain't looking for it, you ain't gonna find it. We'll see you next time right here on History in the Hand.